What's up, A to Z Sports here live on a Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody had a great Mother's Day weekend as we trudge along through the NFL offseason. Last week, there was really nothing happening after the NFL draft. A little deep breath, exhale, time away from the NFL. But this week, lots of things because the Titans had their rookie minicamp over the weekend. I was there on Saturday, spent most of the middle of the day watching Cam Ward and the other rookies out there on the practice field. We'll talk through those observations and the Cam Ward Xavier Restrepo hype that dominated on Saturday. And then this week, Zach, we've got the NFL schedule released, and that already happened. The NFL going to slow release this thing with some big games throughout the week, starting with today. We know what the season opener is. It's the Cowboys at the Eagles. The NFC East, once again, gets all the attention, but it's easy to do that when you have the Super Bowl champion in there too. But we're going to have a lot of good things to talk about this week here on this Monday to start things off. Big week, busy week, lots of news here. Xavier Restrepo, the undrafted free agent wide receiver, stealing a lot of headlines in a rookie minicamp that involved the number one overall draft pick. We'll also wrap up this show with a Rockin Rando segment. Zach, welcome in. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Let's get it going.
Yeah, big Monday, rookie minicamp. First time you see a lot of these players in new uniforms, new helmets, and that's become a trend of teasing that. And then the big dogs come back into the facility here in the next couple of weeks, and you kind of join as a full team. So a lot to talk to. Interested to get opinions of what you saw, Austin, over the weekend, and obviously the chat. Good to be back in the saddle on this Monday morning. We are broadcasting live on 3 different platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We will tweet out segment by segment, link by link, those links on our Twitter headline or our Twitter timeline, at A to Z Sports. So lock in and follow us at A to Z Sports. If you're a Titans fan, if you're an NFL fan, A to Z Sports NFL is where to get that news on Twitter. The best way to ingest this show, live shows, we've got great content going out constantly, whether it's minicamp or OTAs throughout the next couple of months, is our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, A to Z Sports Nashville, A to Z Sports. You'll find us. It's the light blue logo, and hit the subscribe button. After you've subscribed, make sure you like this show. It helps distribution to get more Titans fans and NFL fans locked in through the algorithm, as they say on YouTube. And make sure your live alerts are on. So ring the bell. Who knows when we'll be going live, especially with this unique period of May and June with minicamp and OTAs, some random times. But we've got great coverage for you. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Facebookers, what's going on Facebook? Bottom left corner of your screen. Share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing, as we say on this show. So share the show around. We need to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. How that works is you guys share the show. So a lot to get to on this Monday morning. Let's get this party started.
So officially welcome to A to Z Sports here live on a Monday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. We're Nashville's on-demand sports network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Leave us a 5-star Google review. That is awesome for our company as a whole. Let's thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, and Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They are local and also online at bartondrury.com. So, Zach, rookie minicamp. It's always fun to go back out to football practice when you're not expecting to go out to football practice in like the month of May 10th, the first practice available to the media. Get to see Cam Ward wearing the red jersey, wearing number 1, also red cleats to match, which looked pretty good, but also the total of 9 draft picks plus 16 undrafted free agent signings and a dozen tryout players to make the 37 guys on the field on Saturday afternoon to walk through this first rookie minicamp. So I wanted to set the table, right? Because Brian Callahan talked about before the practice started, this is an orientation type practice. They didn't do anything competitively, Like no offense versus defense. They did some special team stuff, but all more about like knowing where to line up, knowing what to do, knowing what the standard is. But a lot of good actions to get to. And my take on it, my tweet on it of my 4 observations. I had a lot more than 4, but these are my 4 biggest widespread observations that we'll spend a lot of time on today and throughout this week. Cam Ward can sling it. He's all business. We'll talk a lot about Xavier Restrepo today, the undrafted free agent wide receiver out of Miami, Cam Ward's former teammates. He will be the most hyped up UDFA in franchise history. So, Zach, buckle up. Like you thought Mason Kinsey got a lot of hype. We'll talk Xavier Restrepo a lot over the summer. And one thing I thought of, this is one of the most collectively mature draft classes I've seen from guys that talk to the media and how they carry themselves. And Gunnar Helm, the 4th round tight end, he is not lacking confidence whatsoever. So those are my main observations. But Cam Ward is who we all want to know, right? And Ryan Roberts and I Friday talked about like, all right, what can I see? Ryan, who's evaluated Cam, scouted Cam, what do I get to see with my own eyes with Cam Ward? And obviously the arm angle, the arm talent is something that everybody would want to see. And here's some I was muted, but here's our B-roll of Cam's first practice as a Titans player open to the media. And he just naturally has a fun to watch throwing motion, Zach. And that's one thing I noticed is that you never know how quick it's going to come out, the angle it's going to come out. He is very relaxed. There's not a lot of urgency, but he still plays pretty quick. But Cam Ward's feet is something that they're going to work on quite a bit. Brian Callahan talked about not really wanting or needing to mess with his upper body mechanics, but lower body mechanics they really want to focus on quite a bit. So there's some Cam Ward video from practice on Saturday. I mean, look, they didn't do anything on defense. It was just all throwing. He did show some leadership flashes of Alec Ayumaner ran a route that Cam didn't exactly like how he ran it, so Cam made him come back and do it again. So you saw that, and you heard from other rookies talking about the presence and the leadership that he has, and that was on display on Saturday for Cam Ward, the #1 overall pick.
Yeah, I think it's first day of school, right? You don't do anything. You sit there and you get to know people, you get to know your teachers, your classmates. School gets out kind of early and you go home, right? Not saying it's not important because you have to have a first day, but been through a lot of rookie minicamp introductions, especially in the Titans in the history. And it's not to downplay it because it is an exciting time where I think that the NFL does this correctly. You don't get the grown-ass men in the building before the young boys start to, talk, start to build relationships, right? The intimidation factor is real, especially in other NFL camps. The Titans are unique. I don't want to say they're the worst team in the NFL. That's basically the record was, right? But, the expectations are from ground zero, so it's a little different with the Titans probably compared to the rookies that will meet Patrick Mahomes for the first time next week, right? And so especially with a young quarterback that has a lot of weight on his shoulders, a lot of responsibility, you're the savior, you're going to come in and help this franchise win more than 3 games, hopefully 6 to 7 to 8 to 10, who knows, in the coming years. And so, look, I think the things I look for, I would ask you of what you saw this weekend is, we'll start with Cam Ward. Cam Ward, did he show that he was the #1 overall pick? And I'm talking about, these are the things that I look for just in mannerisms. How do you go about things? Do you break down the huddle? I obviously saw that video. Do you and look, interaction with coaches is also important. Interaction with players, because he is the most valuable rookie of all of the rookies. Restrepo's trying to, and we'll talk about him, trying to get on the roster. Cam Ward is the guy. He's the starting quarterback. And if he's not, then there's another issue. Well, he's the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. He's #1 overall pick, right?
Yeah.
So, How did he carry himself through the practice? And did you see that from day one, knowing that it will get better over time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting to watch him at the podium from a press conference standpoint. Like, how this works with the media and you're getting to know rookies and new players. There's usually like some softball, like jokey type, hokey stuff, cheesy, cliched type questions of like, oh, how are you getting used to the city? Like,
What
that
type of mayonnaise do you like?
right.
Stuff
Yeah.
like
All
that.
that. Yeah. Right. Yes. Cam does not want to spend any time on that stuff.
I know. I love that. I that's why I really like Cam Ward, but I'm kind of more talking about mannerisms on the practice field, not to discredit that, because I think I like the business. Look, business, right? Let's work hard. Let's get the job done. This team sucks. We need to get it better. I love that mentality.
Yeah, I mean, he's going through practice with a purpose. Like you see that, and you see him, like I mentioned, the Alec Iominer rep of he ran the route the way that Cam didn't like it, so do it again, do it now. And I think it's more about how the other players talked about him, to answer your question, because we can only see certain things. We can only video the individual portions of practice. We can't video anything where quarterbacks are throwing two receivers, unfortunately, or any of that other stuff. And so I think it's just how guys talk about it. And Iominer said he's on time every time with his throw, with everything he does, and how he goes about things. Cam talked about making sure to get everybody's names and remember everybody's names. I think he's a natural leader. He's comfortable in that situation. And I think it's just, you saw some of those signs that, yeah, the guy understands the assignment and he's going to go out there and do everything he can to achieve the assignment, which is to be the franchise quarterback of the Tennessee Titans.
What about his arm? What about, you talked about throwing motion. We back in my day, when Vince Young was there, that was a huge talking point, right? Because he threw like Phillip Rivers, but didn't complete passes like Phillip Rivers, right? But you saw that. That was the first noticeable thing, was his throwing motion. And then you look at what type of velocity does he have on his ball. That's huge in today's game. What did you see there?
He can sling it. Like, the guy has big time zip, and you can see it, you can feel it, and it whistles through the air. And they had Donovan Smith, who's a tryout quarterback from Houston, rookie, out there too. There's a massive difference in the velocity that Cam has on his throws than Donovan Smith has. And yes, the sidearm angle is what it is. I think it's fun to watch. I think it's kind of like watching a shortstop go out there and just kind of throw things around and like be kind of loosey-goosey with it. Now, the Titans don't have any concerns. At least they haven't said they have any concerns about his arm angle of getting balls knocked down or anything like that. I think it's more of a creative style of throwing, and it's more of a fun thing to watch. It's entertaining to watch him throw because he does have zip. The ball pops out of his hands and it flies through the air differently than Will Levis. Will Levis has a very coached up, mechanically sound, quick release. Cam's is like, this is how I naturally picked up the football and started throwing it around, and I'm really damn good at it. And it works.
And that's not going to change, right? No. Now, can it be tweaked? I think that's what coaches' jobs are, is like, how do you tweak it so, as you mentioned, balls don't get batted down at the line of scrimmage, you don't lose a down, right? Because that's cost. In the NFL, you can't afford batted down balls. I think I think this is the era of quarterback play. This used to be a bigger concern coming into the season out or just into the league with rookies. I mean, you don't want the Tim Tebow windup, right? That's different. But what you really concentrate on is release. And Patrick Mahomes, you give credit because he's evolved the game. Is nobody cares where Patrick Mahomes releases the football as long as it releases and it goes to the place that it's trying to go to. Mahomes is the best at doing that. Can Cam Ward, Rich Gannon used to do that back in the day, right? I mean, there's notorious of these unorthodox type throws. I mentioned Phillip Rivers. I don't think Cam Ward, I don't put him in that box because I think those are extremes. I think the ability to change and maneuver to make the play is all you're looking for.
And honestly, it looks effortless. I think when you're talking about
And
trying
that's
to
important.
change, yes, like you're trying to change throwing angles or have a better, quicker release. A lot of times there's a lot of thought that has to go to break the old habits. His throws are very effortless and very natural and smooth. And so, look, it's one practice. It's him throwing on air. So there's no way to know if that ball was late, on time. He's got zip on it. So that's good. I think he's entertaining to watch for the football. I texted that to Easton, who was not at practice because Easton was out there watching his sister graduate college in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. But I'm like, he's fun to watch. He's fun to watch for the football. And so we'll see how that happens when he has the defense out there on 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 as the offseason continues. But Zach, Cam Ward's former teammate and now still teammate, Xavier Restrepo, I think is the one who stole the headlines and the show of rookie minicamp. The undrafted free agent wide receiver, I thought, was the biggest singular storyline to come out of rookie minicamp practice. We'll get to the observations around Xavier Restrepo here in a moment. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who you can trust, who you can lean on, who you can fall back to, and make sure you get that injury taken care of the right way. And the Bone and Joint Institute is the place to do that. They've got all the resources, the people, the support staff, the doctors, the surgery center, and also the equipment staff there as well in Franklin, Tennessee, off I-65 in Highway 86, right next to Williamson Medical Center. Whenever that injury happens in life, go book an appointment to get it checked out online, boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe to the show. Had some more. Look, I love it. Getting notifications of the Lou Man 5-star special. I think about it every single time I get an email, streaming email saying, hey, more people have reviewed A to Z Sports on Google. It's something that has come together, and our chat and our team that values A to Z Sports, our followers, they've rallied together. So go to Google, A to Z Sports, give us that Lou Man 5-star special, write a review, and like and subscribe to the show.
All right, so Vols X8 says, stop hyping this man. Well, I am sorry to tell you, but that's not going to happen. And look, I have no control over it, Zach. My second bullet.
Well, you do a little
bit. I do not. Xavier Restrepo will be the most hyped up UDFA and Titans franchise history, and you just have to buckle up for it because that's not like me deciding that I'm going to do this. This is what the people want. It's what the players like. When we talk to Cam Ward, Femi Oladipo, Kevin Winston Jr., and all 3 4th-round picks of Iomanner, DK, and Gunnar Helm, all of those guys named Xavier Restrepo. Not like prompted to name Xavier Restrepo, but just talked about guys that were getting to know, guys that were around, culture, and getting having they all mention Xavier Restrepo. He's an undrafted guy. Like that's just what happened. And then there's 4 receivers out there, and shocker, Xavier Restrepo's out there leading off every drill, doing the first rep of every drill, setting the tone, which is exactly what you would expect a undrafted free agent try-hard guy to do, who is not the most athletic, not the most explosive, but that's what happens. And Zach, I don't care what you think. If anybody thinks you should stop hyping the guy, it's just not going to happen. Xavier Restrepo, Zach, and I'm not alone by this, Teron Davenport of ESPN.com, who played college football wide receiver, and I both agreed that Xavier Restrepo was, of the 4 receivers out there, by far the most polished product to play the position. And the whole, if the Titans had a game this week, if the Titans had a game today, Xavier Restrepo is the only guy of these 4 rookies that I think dresses for the game. Like Elik Iomanner and DK, they're bigger athletes. TJ Sheffield, local Independence High School product. Shout out to Independence High. But look, those guys are more physical players and athletes than Xavier Restrepo. But Restrepo just knows how to play receiver, and Brian Callahan talked about that. He's a good football player. He knows how to get open. He's got the nuance. He's little, He's every bit of 5'10", 200 pounds, but he's strong.
Well, look, Darren Sproles proved you can be little and play in the NFL. So like that,
yeah,
and especially of where you are playing, right? And where now it all goes back to, I compare this to two things. Is Xavier Restrepo going to be Rudy, or are you going to play a little, just get on the field, rah, rah, shush, boom, bah, yeah. Or is this going to be like an undrafted, like Austin Reeves type of guy that comes out and then all of a sudden, like Austin Reeves is not the best player on the Lakers, right? That's obvious.
Yeah.
But he's a part of the big three of Luka, LeBron, and Reeves. The guy can drop 40. I think that's kind of Restrepo's ceiling, is an Austin Reeves type guy that is never going to be the number one wide receiver. He's probably not going to be a 1,500-yard guy. I mean, right? Like that is his ceiling. He's probably, Restrepo is going to be somewhere in between or Rudy, because my fear with this, Austin, and we've gone through this year after year. Yeah. Austin falls in love, and I'm not saying this
whoa. Don't make this about me.
Do not make this about me. But you have notoriously fallen in love with a guy in training camp or before, like the roster gets there.
Who have I fallen in love with?
Oh, come on. You fell in love with UCLA wide receiver.
Oh, Kyle Phillips?
Fell in love with that guy. Wah, wah.
I don't
you fell in love in back in the day, Tennessee Volunteers. He was it was either wide receiver or safety. You swore he was going to play.
Who?
The Vols guy.
The Vols guy.
Well, no. Oh, now I will.
If I fall in love with somebody, you better remember the names. Like Kyle Phillips. Kyle Phillips had like 66 yards in his opening game and set the Titans up to win the damn game.
What I'm saying is there's always a guy at practice that looks, and this is very early on, but what I'm saying is we've got to see it through, right? Like
obviously.
this is like just walked into class looking around. We don't know what is going to happen. I think he gets the benefit of the doubt because of Cam Ward.
Well,
I think that is unique to this.
Here's the thing is, Ryan says the Theo cat. Is that the Theo Jackson, the former Vol?
Thank you.
Go look up Theo Jackson's career, Zach.
You said with the Titans. You said that summer heading into that season.
Okay.
Plenty of guys have gone on in other places.
Go look him up.
And
Theo Jackson has made himself money in a career with the Minnesota Vikings. The Titans cut him. The Vikings scooped him up, and he's like starting games. Like he's a legitimately good player. Thank you, Curtis. Theo Jackson has made himself a career of being like a 5th-round pick from the Titans, and the Titans cut him out of his rookie camp. Like, so I think that's a bad example if that's who you're coming at.
I will have to confirm who it was. I'm gonna have to go back into the record books. I want to say it wasn't a rookie minicamp. It was during this time a couple of years ago. It was a Tennessee Volunteer player that the Titans were, I don't want to say trying out, but that's kind of what you were doing. So I will confirm what that is, hopefully before the end of the show. I have to multitask. But my point is it's easy to fall in love with guys before the real bullets start flying.
Sure. But
because the bullets are faster, stronger, and Restrepo, what's the number one thing on Restrepo?
Slow.
He does not have the speed. Now, I think that the Titans benefited off of his poor 40 time, right?
I think Xavier Restrepo, the best thing that could have happened to him was to go undrafted and land here.
I agree 1,000%. I think this is the best case scenario for Restrepo because I think you're just another guy somewhere else where Cam Ward is at least going to go to war for you, right? Like, and Cam Ward, I don't have my keys on me, but I would be dangling. He has the keys to the car, right? And he drives this vehicle called the Tennessee Titans. This is the best case scenario. So if Restrepo is going to thrive, whatever, Rudy to Austin Reeves, it's going to be, I think, because Cam Ward's going to give him more opportunity than he would otherwise.
I think it's look, I said, and Teron and I agreed that Restrepo was the most polished receiver out there on Saturday. Now, Xavier Restrepo also had more receiving yards, more college production than all of those guys out there that were drafted ahead of him. And the reason why he went undrafted is because he ran a 40 in the 4.8s. And nobody has had success in the NFL running a 40 in the 4.8s. If you had a hamstring, tough. But like, I don't think Xavier Restrepo is going to be putting himself in situations to run a 40-yard dash. Like, he's not out there running go balls. Xavier Restrepo is getting open underneath.
Yeah, can you get open? Now speed helps you get open in this league, and I think that's the connector, right?
But I think it's people get so caught up in traits and testing and all that. But I'm watching DK not be like the quickest, smoothest foot guy. Like lateral drills are lateral drills. Like they don't matter, but they kind of show you, are you going to be able to get in and out of breaks? Why was his bread and butter in college the deep crossing route? Because you don't have to change direction, right? That's the deep crosser. You just run fast in a curved line.
Crossing route, Corey.
But DK made money off of that crossing route, and he was really good at it. And he had DK. I like Jim DK. I think he's a.
I thought he was my favorite wide receiver in the draft.
No, that should not be the case.
I know. That was my favorite wide receiver in the draft.
The whole draft, or from the Titans draft?
For the Titans, not the whole draft.
Okay.
The whole draft. Jesus, no. DK was not even to be honest, on my radar in that sense of. I was surprised when they had all of that time to sleep on who they were going to pick, and they picked DK. But after looking at his tape and diving a little bit more into what he did with a bad Florida team, right, with a little bit of a revolving door at quarterback, and he only had 2 touchdowns. He had, as I mentioned before, he had about 4 that he got tackled at the 3-yard line that weren't because of his speed. So he got open. The crossing routes were big. They did screen passes to him. He has the speed to run away from defenders. I just think that people were fascinated by Alec, and I'm curious about DK's ceiling.
Sure, but like his foot quickness is nothing compared to Restrepo's. Same thing with Manor. Like they're different receivers. They play different positions. So
I think they all have their problems, right? So they're rookies. They should. If DK is footwork, Alec Manor is
quickness, twitchiness,
and I think hands. I think his
both DK and Alec had drop hands issues Saturday,
and that's I think my concern with Alec is some drops. And then we obviously have speed with Restrepo. But these guys are rookies, right?
But it's also
you got to look at them through a different lens. And I think we're trying.
And I think I don't care about like a slot receiver. Like I understand like having long speed is important. But I think if you can get open in a phone booth, which I don't know if you young people out there know what a phone booth is these days, but if you can get open in a phone booth, which is what I think Xavier Restrepo can do, you have a role in the NFL. And he's got good hands. He's got the best routes. He approaches route. Like he's quick. He's explosively quick, but not explosively fast with long speed. And I think Manor and DK are the opposite. They are explosive with long speed, but not quick. And it just depends on how Restrepo can manage, but he is going to be the most hyped up UDFA in Titans franchise history. And there's been a lot of them.
I think that's because of Cam Ward.
Well, let's hear that, because this is Cam Ward being asked by John Glennon about Restrepo and if Cam pushed for the Titans to sign Xavier Restrepo as UDFA.
Nudge people to bring him aboard.
I did push for him. Every team that I visited with, I pushed for him. He's one of best route runners in college football last year. He was first team all conference. He was All-American. He never lost in man coverage. He's back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver, so I will be pushed for him.
Back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver. He's All-American, all-conference, never lost in man coverage, according to Cam. He pushed not just the Titans, but every team that Cam Ward met with pre-draft, he said he pushed for Xavier Restrepo. I think that matters. That matters a lot to me, honestly.
I mean, I think it matters based on him being on the Titans team now. Like, that helped. He's the star player, right? So the team, you're going to get preferential treatment to. It didn't cost him anything. Like, it was a great fly. Here's a quick story of Restrepo, because I had a conversation. Coincidentally, I was at the Savannah Bananas, which I have my own opinions on the Savannah Bananas. I didn't really know anything about them. They were in Nashville over the weekend. I had a chance to talk to Brian Callahan. One of the topics that we talked about in our short interaction was Restrepo. And one of the things that he brought up is the reason why we got him was because of the 4.83 40, and we'll see what he can do. I appreciated Callahan's, and Callahan should be the most level-headed guy on the Titans franchise, or within the Titans franchise. Is let's not get too high on a guy, let's not get too low on a guy. Let's see what he can do. And that was his, at least in our interaction, our conversation, that was his mindset, which I respected. That's how I'm trying to approach Xavier Restrepo. It's not he's going to be Wes Welker. It's not that he's going to be Julian Edelman. He's probably closer to Rudy, but damn it, if he becomes Austin Reeves, that's a beautiful thing that Cam Ward did for his franchise.
Well, yeah. Traven brings up Wes Welker. Damn near ran at 4.7, ran at 4.65. Zach, where was Wes Welker?
Why was Wes Welker so successful for the majority of his career?
The same reason why Xavier Restrepo was a back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver at Miami. Wes Welker also went undrafted because he was 4.65 in the 40 and under 5'10 and under 200 pounds. But he knew how to get open. He was quick in short areas. He could catch the football, and he could move the chains. And he made
comfortable
plays.
With the system and his quarterback. And if you could be comfortable within your system and your quarterback, that usually yields some sort of success, right?
Yeah.
And it's Restrepo. I think, to your point, and you watched these guys over the weekend, Restrepo has a better opportunity to get on the field quicker with Cam Ward because he's more, I don't want to say game ready, but more game ready at this point in time with DK and Elomanor. And I have a question. We said, was that clarified over the weekend of how his last name is pronounced? I'm going full question here.
Iomanor is what I've been going with.
Iomanor.
Iomanor.
Once you tell me, I'll run with it. It's Mariota, right?
Yeah, it's Iomanor until I hear else.
Iomanor.
Yeah, Iomanor until I hear otherwise.
All right. Alec Iomanor and DK, I think those guys obviously have a higher ceiling with their skill set, but they may not be ready now. And I think you put guys – here's a very valuable thing. You said that most of this draft class, if not all of it, is more mature, right?
Yeah.
That means you can develop quicker, you can learn faster, you know the playbook, you know where to be. There's nothing worse than a Taywan Taylor on the practice field not knowing where the hell to go. And you'd see that, not saying that these guys won't mess up, but that gets work done. When guys can be at a place that they need to be at and they don't have to question or think, if they can do that quicker, I think that's going to help the entire offense. It's going to be an expedited process.
So to me, we're not supposed to report on like what players and coaches say to each other, but I can tell you this generically. Xavier Restrepo speaks wide receiver language at like a 300 level when the other guys felt like they were talking wide receiver language, like a 100, 200 level. Like he's a more advanced wide receiver. And that's a very complex position. People just think you can put athletes out there and play wide receiver. No, you have to be able to ball. Like you can be athletic, but you got to be able to ball. You have to know how to play the position. And Xavier Restrepo, while not as athletic as the majority of NFL receivers, knows how to play the position. And that's important. So, Zach, let's ask this question here. The hype. Xavier Restrepo hype from Titans minicamp. This is a big deal, small deal, or no deal. A big deal, small deal, or no deal is how we can get the audience involved here. But the Xavier Restrepo hype at camp this past weekend, a big deal, small deal, or no deal, because I said he is going to be the most hyped up UDFA in franchise history, and there's nothing I can do to slow that down. It's already started. The snowball is rolling down the mountain. So we'll get to your answers here in a second. But first, we'll tell you guys about our new partners, the Barton Drury Insurance Group. Customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They are online at bartondrury.com. These guys are local. They are in the Nashville area, and they will do anything they can to help you in whatever your situation is, get the right type of insurance product that they can find. When Zach and I were out there shopping around the market to find health coverage for our employees, we landed with the Barton Drury Insurance Group because they had the best fit for us, the best cost for us, the best great level of coverage for our employees. They can do it all because they can get you any type of product like employee benefits, 401k planning, life insurance, workers' comp, liability, auto, property, and umbrella. And like I said, they're local, which means that they are right here for you to make sure that you understand fully the type of policies that you have with the different legalese and high level verbiage that is nonsense to most of us, but they can walk you through all that to make sure you understand your insurance policies to a T. You can check them out online, bartondrury.com.
A to Z Sports. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show. Give us that Lou Man 5-star special. Go in and give us a Google review. Go to Google, type in A to Z Sports, give us a review. We now have over 100 reviews thanks to the chat. So shout out to the chat. You guys are the real ones. Fighting fire with fire. After the lies were spread by Louis with the 1-star rating, Google even came back and removed those because they knew it wasn't true. We don't spread lies. We're truthful. We're honest. We just try to tell it like it is and have opinions and get the chat involved. Keep up those Lou Man 5-star specials rolling in on our Google review, and like and subscribe to the show.
Speaking of not spreading lies, me saying, what's your reaction, Zach, to me saying that Xavier Restrepo will be the most hyped up rookie in or UDFA in franchise history?
I think it's a pretty lofty comment, but I understand where you're coming from.
So the hype, I'm putting up a YouTube poll right now as we speak. The hype on Xavier Restrepo, is it a big deal, small deal, or no deal? What are you seeing from the chat while I put up this YouTube poll?
Well, so this is where my comparison. I said Rudy. Rudy is a guy that everybody loves. That's going to try hard in practice, and everybody respects the guy. But he's still a special teams guy. He's not great, right? Like he just is what he is. Nick Ewing comes in and says Restrepo could be Jalen Brunson of wide receivers. Jalen Brunson is a max player. If Xavier Restrepo becomes a max NFL wide receiver and is making Tyreek Hill type money, I don't think that's his ceiling. Bless it if it is.
Yeah, and
but
look.
That's why Austin Reeves, I think, is the perfect guy. Is undrafted, not the best guy on his team, can drop 40, but also can, have like a 7-point, 8-point game. It's okay. But he's valued to the offense, and he's always out there on the court. Like, he's not a guy who needs a blow. He's always going to be there. So that's, I think, the top. If he can become Austin Reeves, I know it's a football, basketball analogy, I think that's the best case scenario.
Well, Nick Westbrook-Akine was an undrafted guy that stuck around this franchise for a long time and earned his keep and respect from the whole fan base by the time he was done here, right? To where people were bummed that he went to the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think he's unique because he was thrown into situations for the majority of his Titans career that ordinarily he would not be thrown into because the team was so bad and the wide receiving core was so bad. And then he took advantage of said opportunities when they were getting their brains beat out and catching touchdown passes. Now, I do not discredit the touchdown passes that he caught. It was very impressive. He earned those, but my fear is he's going to be an Alteron Werner type player. Is he had this 1 year that was unbelievable, goes and gets a contract and kind of goes back to who he actually is. So that's why I don't want to put Xavier. I don't know enough about Xavier Restrepo as the person and player to put him in that same category. Well, we know more about NWI.
Well, when NWI made the team as an undrafted free agent rookie, we were like, really? Like the guy who couldn't catch in practice made the team? Why? Like it was confusing. It didn't make sense, right?
The wide receiver room sucked.
Yeah, but he made it as a special teams gunner. Like the only pass he caught, like his first 2 years, was a fake punt out route in Baltimore, right?
So here's a question: will Restrepo play special teams?
And
can he tackle?
Well,
I'm dead ass serious.
I mean, I think the guy will learn how. So he did take punt return reps. He's the one thing he has that makes me feel like he could play special teams is that he's got some thick to him. He's 200 pounds.
He looks thick on the screen. Throw it up again. I mean, he's got some stock, as they say.
He is quite stocky. So I think he's not like Kyle Phillips, who's like 180 pounds soaking wet, who had to like really, really work hard. Like Kyle Phillips' waist was like as thin as your drinking glasses you have in your cabinet. Xavier Restrepo's got some muscle to him, a frame to him that I think could withstand some special teams beatings and not just have him get thrown around. He's got
some trunks. Like look at those legs. I mean, there's some power.
Yeah, he's got base, and which is important for what we're talking about here. So big deal, small deal, or no deal. I know a lot of people are saying big deal. I put up a YouTube poll. What else are you seeing?
Let's go to the chat. Eric says big deal. Curtis says big deal. Vanessa says he has good hands. I think that's very valuable. That'll get you on the field. Good hands, catching the ball, being reliable, get you on the field. Big deal from Daniel. Small deal from Scott. Steven says big deal. Social says small deal. Titans Kyle says no deal. Eric goes huge deal. Big deal from Nick. Also Rashid. Also Bustin' Diamond. Also Darius. Also Kat. Also Matthew. All big deal. Yinda says a small deal. Sign him and cut Burks from Chris Frazier. I think probably it's a little too early, but most share that sentiment because what we know about Burks. Small deal from Corey. Steven says small. Jason says no deal. Yenzi says small deal. So does Derek. So does Kenneth. So some more small deals coming in from Ryan and Joshua. Hashtag says no deal. He the best rookie receiver out there. I think that would be a big deal then. Let's see here. Yeah. Anything in basketball shorts is no deal from Mike Vrabel's burner.
Well, there is something to this, right? Now, Kyle Phillips is the best example of, man, this guy's quick as hell. Like, look how quick he can get open. Look how smooth and crisp these routes are. Look how these feet move. And then you put the pads on, and all it takes is like a punch from a cornerback, and you throw him off of his route. I don't think Restrepo is going to be as phased. Now, I do think when pads are on, the gap between Restrepo's polish and DK or Iomaner's polish tightens. Because those guys are bigger physical. They can go up and do the contested catch thing where Restrepo can't as much. So the pads matter and the physicality.
Then it's kind of the offense putting Restrepo in the best position, right?
But again,
he's going to have to do more.
Again, Xavier Restrepo in full pads the last 2 years had 2,200 plus receiving yards at Miami. So one of those years he had Cam Ward. One of those years he had Doo playing quarterback for him. So I think both of them were over 1,000. Very productive. And that matters. He was more productive in college than the two guys they drafted at the position.
So getting back to a couple of comments, Vanessa says small, Kane says big, Duke says big deal, small deal from Brad. Let's see. No deal from Brett. Let's see here. Small deal from Ashley. Big deal from Jason. No deal from Vols 8 X8. Biggest from Zach right there. Malachi says no deal. It's already been talked about. I'll say big deal when the other wide receivers are there and the defense is on the other side. So kind of what you said is like, well, look, this is first reaction. You got a day of media coverage to see them. So it's only fair we are reacting. This is what we do on the show. So I'm not discrediting that. Austin, is this a big deal, small deal, or no deal for you after you seeing Restrepo in the flesh?
I'm going to say a big deal. It's a big deal because the hype is not going away. I think Kane brings up a good comment. If Xavier Restrepo did not run a 40, would he have been drafted? Like if he had just said at his pro day at Miami, got a hamstring thing I'm dealing with, I'm not going to run today. I think he would have been drafted.
I think there's probably some truth to that because, maybe he should have known he was going to run that.
I mean, but maybe this is his way to get with Cam. If he wanted to get with Cam, this is the way to get. I don't know.
No, you want to get drafted.
I mean, I would rather. I think it's not. At times, it's better to go undrafted than it is being drafted in the 7th round because you get to pick your situation, like Restrepo is doing here. Now, here's why I think
it's a silver lining, in my opinion.
No, I think at times it's true. Like with Restrepo, it's 100% true. You get to pick your spot,
but you don't know when he would have gotten drafted.
Probably the 6th round. Still, he's still 5'10", 200 pounds. 5th round, the highest. He wasn't a day 2 pick ever. But
he still has the work ethic and everything that he's. Look, so continue on with your big deal because
it's a big deal because the hype's not going away. Cam Ward loves this guy. Cam Ward has gone to bat for him. I from the conversations that were had on the sideline of that practice Saturday, Cam Ward is the reason why Xavier Restrepo's here. But I think the Titans are going to be the winners in this because I think the Titans were lucky and correct to listen to Cam Ward and just give Xavier Restrepo a lower level UDFA contract and say, hey, come bet on yourself, kid. And I think he's going to do it. I think Xavier Restrepo is going to win that bet is what I think. The other reason why I think it's a big deal is because, and Jeff says, it's rookies only minicamp, Austin. Here's why it's also a big deal. The Titans drafted 2 guys in the 4th round at wide receiver. And I saw, it took me 2 drills right next to these guys. And I kind of exhaled in disappointment. Because Alec Manor and Chim DK need to be better than that. They were not impressive. Xavier Restrepo was impressive. Those 2 guys made me go, oh, God. There's work that needs to be done. And I think it is, East and I will talk about this throughout the week. All that talk we had, Alec Manor. Let me see if I still have this graphic up here. When I was like, just view Alec Manor as the 82nd overall pick. Nah, let's pump the brakes. Like, I don't know. I have no expectation for rookie production from those 2 receivers.
All right, I'm going to give my answer, and there's some context to this. It is not a big deal. I cannot get on board for a rookie minicamp in shorts to say it's a big deal. I never, in the history of this show, I would never do that. Whether I was on the field or off the field, I cannot do big deal. I also don't think that this is a no deal because of what I'm about to say. This is a small deal, and I can kind of see the vision of what Mike Borgonzi is trying to do with this offensive roster. Brian Callahan will prove that if he's still the head coach next year, I think it's still somewhat of his vision. But as far as roster building, Mike Borgonzi, this is his first draft class. He handpicked these players, whether it was with Brinker's help or Callahan's help or Scout's help. all of these wide receivers knew that are coming into this Titans roster are just trying to be the third guy, the third wide receiver in the foreseeable future. Because what I think is going to happen, Calvin Ridley is one. He's on a 4-year deal. He's in the second year. He still has 3, 4, and we'll see what. But Ridley doesn't seem like he's slowing down. They invested in him. He's the number 1 wide receiver, right? So we get that. Burks, he is on a lame duck deal. This is pray to the gods that Burks, you can get 400, 500, 600 yards out of Burks. Pray to the good Lord above. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, he's going to be in the PUP list. I don't think he's going to play.
And that's probably expected, right? Yeah. Like that's your prayer, though. That God comes down.
Don't even waste
and
that.
Answers prayer.
Don't even use
a prayer. He's been a prayer ever since you figure out what Burks is. So
don't use one of your 3 wishes on Traylon Burks.
Here's my point, and this goes to what I'm saying. This is a long play for what this rookie wide receiver class is, because they are going to draft a top tier wide receiver next year or overpay a big time wide receiver free agent who will be the number 2 wide receiver. So if you look at it in the 2-year span, not the 1-year span, this is a small deal, because whether it's DK, Io Manor, or Restrepo, can they come in and be the complementary piece to Cam Ward's arsenal with Ridley, said wide receiver, whether they're drafted in the 1st or 2nd round next year or you're going to purchase them in free agency? Can he be that third guy? Whatever place he is, X, Y, or Z, doesn't matter, because I don't know who the next wide receiver next year is going to be. So I think this is the small deal for me, because those are my expectations for all of these rookies. I don't expect, if they break out, then Borgonzi, hat off to you, bud. But I don't think that is his play. His play is the 2 to 3 year roster build for Cam Ward. And so this is why it is a small deal. And cost 66, I actually don't think it depends on the coach. We all know that if this team is a 4-win team, Brian Callahan's going to be fired. It's just probably going to happen. I don't think that would happen. I actually think that this is a great opportunity for Brian Callahan to show his skill set as a head coach with a young quarterback to come in and win 7 games. That's all you need to do to keep your job. And that's hard in the NFL, but if you can win 7 out of 17 games, Brian Callahan will keep his job, and he'll be able to reap the benefit of the wide receiver they are either going to draft or buy next offseason. So small deal is my answer, because those are my expectations.
Okay. Yeah. A lot.
I think it's sizzle. This is Fajita sizzle.
Yeah.
But are we talking about flank steak or sirloin? Or are we talking about good filet? I don't know.
Borgonzi and Brinker mentioned the whole 2 to 3 year. Like, what are these players going to be 2 to 3 years down the road? But you have to have guys right now who can help out your quarterback right now, too. You have to have the balance of the now and the future and the building and the development. And so I think when I saw the rookie receivers out there, the 4 of them, I was let down a little bit by the draft picks, and Restrepo looked like the best of the bunch. But it shouldn't be surprising, because he was the best college receiver of the bunch. He just ran a slow 40.
So this goes to the chat. I think this is why it's a small deal. What is Restrepo going to look like when Tyler Lockett, the skilled wide receiver, old head, but still skilled wide receiver, is on the field? Or Van Jefferson, that has had some more experience and been at multiple stops? Or obviously Ridley, right? Like that, the comparison, this is the exciting part about how they set this up, is let's see him against the rookies, rookie on rookie crime, and then let's bring in grown men that know how to run routes.
Yeah. So fair. I think I'm going to say
it can't be a big deal. I disagree with the big deal. I think
it's a multifaceted. It's not a big. It's a big deal because of Restrepo and because of what Restrepo made the draft picks look like. Underwhelming. And Zach, I feel like I feel like with receivers, in my time watching a bunch of receivers at Titans practice up close in person, I feel like it's easier to identify the guy that doesn't have it than the guy who practices well if he can make it translate. The eye test is easier to find the guy that doesn't have it in practice than the guy that does. And I immediately saw it with Des Fitzpatrick. And there is a difference in what I saw with Des Fitzpatrick and what I saw Saturday. These two guys this year are not the Des Fitzpatrick level low, but it is more along the lines of they've got baby deer in them. Like they're kind of trying to figure out their legs a little bit. They might be able to run fast straight. They might be able to jump up and go get the football, which could work. If DK is got one trick and it's a crossing route because he's fast, cool, do it. But I don't know if they can be a full route tree type of guy, and I don't know if it's going to be there for him. So,
well, you have to ward against, pun intended, the complex that you had a couple of years ago with Tannehill and Phillips connection, because that was a chemistry, sit there. And I remember talking through that training camp, the chemistry was there, right? And chemistry class was failed because Kyle Phillips wasn't any good. So like we go into this, that's why it's a small deal.
Kyle Phillips, why wasn't Kyle Phillips?
But you were raving about this connection.
Zach, what did he do in his
He got hurt, but he didn't come back and do anything.
Because he kept getting hurt.
He had a full season to come back.
He kept getting hurt over and over and over and over.
Because that's who he is.
Because he's 175 pounds.
But that's not what you were talking about in training camp. It was, oh my gosh, this is a 2-touchdown day. Tannehill to Kyle Phillips.
That was factually true.
Right, but it's also, this is why we're talking about it. Is
I'm
you
learning
need to
from
off
this
against that and just lower the expectations. I don't want to. I'm not going to war with this, but I think a comment earlier on, because I was trying to find this damn Tennessee Volunteer that has played for the Titans. I believe it was Josh Malone.
Yeah,
that you loved, and I said this MFer ain't gonna make it, and it was because he was making plays in this type of scenario.
Yeah.
But when the big dogs came to eat, he was the runt in the back that didn't get any food.
Because Josh Malone was a polished receiver who knew how to do things in practice and get open.
But do you remember going to war for him? We had a huge
like,
drag-out argument because you thought he was going to be this guy, and it was too early. He was
somebody to watch. Like that, I think I phrased it as. I think I like phrased it and packaged it as like he's a player to watch who could be on the rise, like as a tryout guy.
But I did find him, and shout out to the comments are too many right now. Shout out to whoever posted Josh Malone, because that was the guy. I remember having those conversations. We're just trying to not revisit history of guys in shorts
like,
looking.
Josh Malone was a talk of the spring, not just for me.
Not for me.
Not because you weren't there.
Because I knew that Josh Malone wasn't going to be anything.
People that were there were like, yeah, Josh Malone's standing out. And I forget what year that was, because and it was pre-Diop, right?
Yeah, I always bring it up is because we talked about it earlier in the show. So, but regardless, I think Restrepo is different than Josh Malone. I will say this. And I think that goes to what we're talking about is the franchise #1 overall pick of the Tennessee Titans loves them. And that love is not going anywhere. And I think in some form or fashion, you fall back to what you know, even though you got to work on Ridley connection, you got to work on tight end and Chig connection. That's why I think that it is a small deal because of that.
Okay. I have a prediction, Zach. Restrepo is wearing number 87 out there.
Which I like.
7's available.
I like 87.
Zach, 7's available. They're not going to give a UDFA receiver a single-digit number out of the gates.
But aren't the numbers taken?
7's available. I said that now 3 times. I think part of the deal, I think part of the bet, because I think the Titans and Restrepo have like a little competition, like a fun, like, all right, earn 7. Here's my prediction, Zach. Xavier Restrepo is going to make the football team. He's going to make the 53-man roster. And he will get number 7 after training camp. I think they have a jersey number reward for Xavier Restrepo.
The old Eric Decker number. That is a pretty good comment right there. I actually think that makes sense. I like that idea. And if that's the case, if there's some inside competition,
because I bet he was like, can I have 7 because it's open? I bet, you know what? Make the team. You can get 7. I bet that is how I see this going down.
And you know what would be even more of a badass move, in my opinion, for Restrepo is he makes the team. He says, I am 87. Because I like 87 over 7. I think 87 is a wide receiver number. I know the new age of single digits. I get it. But
87 is too big for him.
But I like that, right? It's like, I don't know. Just a slot 87 guy has some flash. But yeah, I think your mindset does align and make sense.
You got a couple super chats on Restrepo. Amnesia said, so we're just going to ignore his stats and his going on his pro day time. Didn't he run a 4.53 in college? Didn't he have multiple 1,000-yard receiver seasons? Yeah, he had multiple 1,000-yard seasons. I don't know if he ran a 4.53 at Miami in spring practice in 2022. I don't know. Like, college 40 times are bogus, just like college height and weights in the programs. Like, they can make up whatever they want to do. I never trust a college program 40 times on a player. The only 40 times you can actually trust are the ones that are at the pro days. And even that's questionable. The ones that are at the combine are truly the only ones you can trust.
It's height on a roster sheet.
Yeah.
They've added 2 inches.
It's like all those shoes that, if you're 5'10", you can be 6'1" when you go to the bars this weekend. It's like, okay, that's ridiculous. Amnesia.
If I don't know anybody, if any of my buddies, we caught them wearing those shoes, it'd be
game over.
You'd immediately have a nickname that you would hate. And I don't even know what that would be, but that's funny.
People disliking Restrepo, but show me another Titan with a 1,000-yard season. Not many out there. I mean, yeah, like the Titans have not been drafting receivers with production since like A.J. Brown, right?
Well, and we always say, and this is a cold, hard truth. You take A.J. Brown out of the equation, the Titans wide receiver story is the worst in history. I think you could argue and they botched their one guy that they actually got right. The history of the Titans wide receivers and Calvin Ridley, I think, has started off well though. So I think but
that's not a draft.
I know. But even free agents, they haven't done great with wide receiver free agents either. I mean, the Andre Johnsons and Randy
going
Moss's
back. How about another 87? David Givens,
coming over from the San Diego Chargers at the time.
Yancey Thigpen. Yeah, a lot of bad. And Justin said, did Burks not have college production? Burks had a season. His junior year, he had 1,000 yards.
Pig suey.
But I think there's a difference of multiple 1,000. Like, you know how hard it is to have multiple 1,000-yard receiving seasons in college? Like, that's actually pretty rare.
I think today it's becoming more abundant. I mean, because of the offense.
Well, and they're also playing more games. Like, if you make the playoffs, then you're going to – but I'm talking about, like, 12-game regular season, maybe you play in a bowl game or a conference championship game. Like 14 games used to be the max. Now guys are playing like 15 games if you make it the whole way. But like 1,000 yards, like, and doing it 2 years in a row, not a lot.
Well, I'm not saying it is, and Nick, I'm not sitting here saying that it's not rare. I'm saying that it probably you'll see more of it because I think 2 things. Offenses throw the ball more. That's not anything new. But the competition and scheduling, you're not playing, these these no-name teams where you're going to get pulled in the second half. You're now going to have production. So I think there's going to be more opportunity to get more yards, but it's not taking away from what Restrepo did. I think, look, I don't disagree that the storylines are going to be eye-popping for Restrepo. Is the one thing we never really talked about is the chip. He's got this chip on his shoulder that nobody believes in him. And I feel like guys like Restrepo, they hone that energy and they figure it out. You know, the chip is the X factor of what it could be. So,
Yep, for sure. And like Miami's all-time leading receiver with 2,800 yards. That kind of shows you how, in 200 catches, 2,800 yards, that's Miami, wide receiver use, all-time leading receiver with Hall of Fame gold jacket wearing guys all over the place. Again, that kind of shows you how rare the production is. That's my point. To have back-to-back 1,000-yard receivers seasons.
Yeah. Playing a bad ACC, but
like it's production matters.
I know. But Florida State wasn't the same Florida State.
But what was Miami was the
ACC was bad.
Miami was in the Big East when Michael Irvin was doing that. The Big East in football. Big East doesn't even have football anymore.
Yeah. So I haven't purchased a ticket yet to the Restrepo show, but I'm in line. I'm still deciding. You may have your Restrepo ticket already, but I'm a wait and see guy.
Again,
I'm waiting in line. I haven't pushed the buy button on my Ticketmaster.
Jeffrey, he was there for 5 years. His first year as a true freshman, he had one catch for 12 yards in COVID. Like, come on. So he did it in 4 years. So, all right. You ready for a little Rockin Rando here?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I can be. But first, make sure you hit up Wilson County Hyundai for your new car buying needs. WilsonCountyHyundai.com in Lebanon. Make sure you check them out for your new ride. They'll help you save some cash. Drive out there to Lebanon, not paying those downtown inflated prices. But Pain Bone can help you out right there. WilsonCountyHyundai.com. All right, Zach. Rockin Rando time. So
I've got this beta version, right? So 2 weeks ago was the first time we did it. Last week, what happened? Can you give me
So because Easton is like a decade plus younger than us, I have decided to find out. And Easton he doesn't do jersey numbers. Like he just doesn't know like what jersey number people wear, which is hilarious to me. My goal is to find the person the chat gets the quickest that Easton might not get. So I'm trying to thread a needle with my Rockin Randos, the Easton. And so I did Jake Delhomme from the Carolina Panthers, Jake Delhomme.
Right. Which I was like, we would have gotten in 3 seconds.
Yeah. Like everybody's like, oh, Jake Delhomme.
Did he get it?
He did. It took him, he said he was like, that's not Jimmy Clausen. So it took some pass to get there. But he got there.
Yeah, that would be like our 90s, though. And I think if you put a 90s quarterback like Jeff George, I would know who Jeff George is, even though I didn't really watch him play.
Kids these days, man, they're different.
All right. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to serve you up a hometown special.
All right. I've got the chat hidden. I've got the graphics hidden. I got it all hidden.
This is a Titans player.
Oh.
So, I don't want to just put Joe Smith from, Illinois on the Bengals.
Drew Sample was really random. That's
but there it's difficulty. It's not
fringe roster tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals is pretty deep.
That's why this is beta.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
It's not Chris Johnson. So I think you know who that is, but who is chat? Get ready. Get ready. First one. Who is this? I think this is a good one. And he's solo. He's not next to anybody, but he's in that 3-point stance. Who is this?
Isaiah Simmons?
Is that your final answer?
For some reason, I feel like that's Isaiah Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons.
Yes.
Is that your final answer?
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to get anything closer than that.
This
73.
He's a Titan. He's wearing two-tone blue. It's not Isaiah Simmons, so you got that wrong. The chat also
73.
has not gotten this correct.
73. I mean, did he like make the team?
Yeah, Titans fans. How diehard are we in here?
Is this a preseason picture?
How diehard are we? Apparently, the chat doesn't even know their own team.
I mean,
brutal. I thought you guys are diehard too.
The last person to wear 73 that mattered. Hey,
every down matters. What are you talking about? You'd be cut so quick. Coach would cut you so quick if you said that.
Is this a regular season roster guy?
He's wearing the full uniform. He's not in a practice jersey. He's at home. He's in front of, probably 3,000 Titans fans in Nissan Stadium. Not as many as the Savannah Bananas supplied this past weekend.
The funny wrong answers are great.
Man, I thought this was, I was pretty proud of myself. This is why I was a little behind this morning, because I was trying to find a hometown guy, but none, zero, swing and a miss, Stump City. This is also great, Austin, because nobody can Google this, or they have it, right? Because that's the game. You can't Google.
Is it like Kevin Pomfield?
Nope, it's not Zach Pillar. It's not Justin Murray.
Zach Pillar.
You're not going to get it. God, Stump City.
So not Kevin, Kevin Pomfield.
It's not Kevin Pomfield.
Justin Murray. I don't like. Again, I don't think this player played in a regular season game.
He's wearing a Titans uniform, so
okay, cool. Like, do you do that 3 times a year in preseason games? Yeah, well, I don't think this guy played in a regular season game.
You know how, but that's the game. Is how well do you know your team?
Right,
so
who is it then? I mean,
reveal.
Haas is asking for a clue.
No, there's no clue. It's either you get it or you don't. This was all-time Titans legend, Lachavious Simmons.
Oh. I was so close. That's who I was trying to think. I said Isaiah Simmons.
Isaiah, and you can't mix so Isaiah close. Wilson with Lachavious Simmons, because Lachavious Simmons, all-time Titans, great. What are you talking about?
So that's who I was thinking of. So I was kind of right. I was right mentally of who I was trying to picture, but I had the wrong name.
Nobody got this. And look, this is not me being a troll, Greg. This is me just asking, how well do you know your favorite teams? So, I thoroughly loved that. I can't even express you, because I had no idea if somebody was going to get it or not. I typed it in. I found it. I was like, let's see if they can get old Lachavious Simmons, who was drafted in 2020, 7th round pick, but currently plays for the Birmingham Stallions. But I mean, this is a 23-24 Tennessee Titan.
No, this is who I thought it was. I just messed up the first name.
And a hometown guy, because he went to Tennessee State. You should know that roster. So, this is.
And so I was also correct. He did not play in a regular season game for the Titans.
So will there be a leaderboard, Darius? I am the leaderboard right now, brother. Lachavious Simmons.
He has only played in two regular season games. They were both with the Chicago Bears in 2021.
Well, he's in full Titans gab right here.
I mean, the fact that I even got his last name right was impressive.
But Lachavious is different than Isaiah.
All right. I think there has to be a new rule. Like, you got to play in regular season games.
Look,
This guy was in
not a
training
practice
camp.
squad. It was a Titan. If I would have done this, no. You can't complain about this. If I would have pulled a guy from like, a nobody from the Seattle Seahawks, then I think you definitely have
I almost got it. And the guy never.
This is a team
he
you
didn't make the
cover.
team.
You cover. You saw him play with your own two eyes. So you can't. No. This is a loss. Austin just bounced. Austin just bounced. He couldn't take the Latavius Simmons heat. He should return. I'm going to pop over here. He should return shortly. But, yeah, that's it. I don't even know if Austin's going to come back. This may be a show that I don't know if his computer dipped out or he couldn't take the Latavius Simmons heat, but that's all she wrote. I don't see him coming back into the chat. So, like the show before you go, pour one out for Latavius Simmons, the Birmingham Stallion, and Easton and Austin. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Adios.